Hey, welcome to Texas Football Talk. I'm your host, 𝗟𝗓𝗏𝗘, once again joined by my brother Clint. In this special episode, we have Derrick Johnson, Texas High School Hall of Famer, Texas Longhorn All-American, Pro Bowler with the Kansas City Chiefs. How you doing, Derrick?
I'm doing good, man. I'm actually a Texas University of Texas Hall of Famer too, or Hall of Honor. There, I should say Hall of Honor.
There you go. Accolades after accolades.
And the superlatives could go on and on and on and on and on. There's probably a list of things you have there. But I can tell you, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you joining us, taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're busy. I know you were doing some things before you came on with us, had to feed the kids, doing some other things. But we definitely appreciate you joining us today. I'll kind of let Jeremy kind of start off here, kind of explain how we got you, how you decided to join us on the show here.
Yeah. So last night I was able to attend a Twitter space, Players Lounge with the University of Texas. Derrick was on there, along with current players, 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗧, Anthony Cook, incoming freshman Justice Finkley, Brian Jones from CBS Sports Network. It was a very, very well-organized, ran Twitter space. If anybody's been on Twitter spaces before, they could be kind of guys with open mics arguing back and forth, but this was very well organized. And I was lucky enough to get to ask a question of the current players. But Derrick was on there, and I shot my shot. Hey, maybe we can get him on the show because NIL is new to college football. I know that's a lot of what he's doing right now. So Derrick, if you could tell us just a little bit about what the Players Lounge is and what Burnt Orange Heroes is.
Okay. Aaron Murray actually approached me. He's used to be a quarterback for the University of Georgia, and they're doing a great job right now. It's called Players Lounge, and they created these NFTs where exclusive access from the school's athletes and the fans interaction with the athletes. At the end of the day, I'll tell you what, it's for it to be school friendly like it is. It really attracted me to actually be an ambassador for the Longhorns. And what it is, it's really a barcode that fans and supporters and donors buy so they can have exclusive access to different tailgates, to different parties and different signings, different winnings, giveaways. At the end of the day, sometimes I'll be on throughout the football season. I actually be breaking down film with the guys and doing different things. So just exclusive, really specific content that fans can have. But of course, you got to pay. You got to buy the NFT to get all this exclusive content. We're about to launch it in a few weeks. At the end of the day, but I tell you what, man, I'm very excited about it. At the end of the day, it gets through this new NIL rule. We're all new to it. I'm new to it. This is a whole like a wild west. But the great thing I like about this, because NIL there's a lot of sharks out there that you can get into, a lot of bad things you can get into when it comes to distractions with NIL. But what I like about the Players Lounge is they provide this safe place for the school and the fans and the athletes to interact. And at the end of the day, the fans and the donors are supporting these athletes through buying these NFTs. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool experience.
I think the biggest thing with that, Derrick, is obviously being a college football player, going on to the NFL, having to deal with contract negotiations, something that's new to really these student athletes when it comes to NIL. I'm pretty sure, other than just an ambassador, you're probably a mentor and really somebody that can advise them from staying away from those sharks, those individuals that are willing to, out there taking their money that aren't school friendly, that aren't student athlete friendly. I think you would probably play a big role in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I wanted to jump on, because this right here, man, it's a lot of people trying to put their hands in this pot, this cookie jar. And for me to bleed burnt orange and be a person of influence to the athletes at the end of the day, and being a Longhorn through and through, helping these players say, hey, this NIL rule, this avenue that'll help you get some money in your pocket at the end of the day, it's really going to help you out and build your brand through the people that love you at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna talk a little football.
All right, real quick.
Right.
Sorry.
Yes,
real
sir.
Quick. Hey, boys. Shh. There we go.
Love it. Hey, if you ever catch one of our lives, hey, Derek, if you ever catch one of our lives, I tell you what, it gets pretty fun. We can have computer issues. We'll have phone issues. We got dog issues.
Cool.
We got all things that happen. So hey, just this is the way we roll. We love it.
Good.
All right. So the next question I have for you, where do you currently see? I know on the Spaces last night, I think you were probably a guest speaker at one of the recruiting events they just held there on the 40 acres. Where do you see the state of the program under Steve Sarkisian as of now?
You know what, Coach Sark, I'm very excited about what Coach Sark has done so far as bringing in the right players, bringing in the right coaching staff. Coach Sark is a guy that when you're around him, certain coaches you're around, you're like, oh, this guy makes me uncomfortable, and you know this and this. This guy right here, he's not that old, but he's an old school football coach. He's all about ball. He's super smart, obviously, but he's all about ball. And I got to tell you, he has the right coaching staffs around him. Obviously, last year wasn't what we wanted, wasn't what anybody wanted, especially Coach Sark. You know, his expectations are very high at the end of the day. But I like his mindset. I like the culture that he's building. I was actually up there this weekend with Anthony Hill and all the guys, the recruiters that were in this weekend, talking to him, me and Ratpo. So trying to give back as much as we can to let these guys know the more dogs we get, the more dogs we get, the more aggressive dogs we get on this team actually helps change this culture. And that's speaking from when I played from 01, 04. The reason we won 10 games or more every year is because, you know, we had a couple guys that were just a little better than everybody else, you know. And don't get me wrong, everybody on our team wasn't a star player, but when you get those certain guys that can elevate everyone else around them, you got yourself some pretty good squad.
I love that. And speaking about dogs, so I'm going to ask you, got a current linebacker who was on the Twitter space last night, 𝗟𝗚𝗏, converted safety, been in the program for 5 years now. But I'm going to ask you who you enjoyed watching on Saturdays the most. I know you just entered your NFL career and maybe didn't get a chance to watch as many games as you'd like to, but who on the current roster is one of those dogs that you really enjoyed watching?
Oh, you said it, Overshawn. I mean, he's a guy that I really like his style of play because it's sideline to sideline. It's kind of like myself. I've always been an athletic linebacker, and I've always so I'm kind of jealous of Overshawn. I always wanted to be a safety, so he played that position, and now he's coming down into into a harder space, I should say, at the linebacker spot. But I tell you what, man, he's going to be I'm speaking, later on in life, NFL wise, guys are going to really like him just because he can play in space. I mean, this game, this college game, this RPO, this passing from left to right and all this stuff, this run pass option stuff, it's leaked into the NFL. And I tell you what, the more athletic linebackers you can have, the better at the end of the day. So Overshawn's future is bright from what I see. And we're getting some more guys like him. So he's a staple on that defense, who's in the middle of that defense that can rush the passer, that can play in space, and he can flat out hit you and run sideline to sideline.
Yeah, so we're Cowboy fans too. So a guy like you're talking about, Marcus Parsons, plays at every level of the football field, can rush the passer, and playing coverage. With backs, tight ends, like you said, a sideline to sideline player that can play at all three levels. That's what the NFL, you just came from there, I'm sure you could say, is that's what they're looking for, guys that can rush the passer and play coverage. And Dio is one of those guys, in my opinion, as well.
Yep, he is. And you're talking about Parsons. I mean, that's a guy that can. I've never seen a player. Hopefully, this is not off topic, but I never seen a linebacker that can rush the passer as well and equally play behind the line of scrimmage. That's hard to do. Yeah. I can rush the passer obviously, but not quite like Parsons and those guys. But I tell you what, the more you can do, I mean, the better at the end of the day.
Yeah. So we played against a coach that happened to work at TCU for over a decade there, in Gary Patterson, who is a defensive minded coach that is currently working as the assistant to the head coach for Steve Sarkisian. What influence do you think Gary Patterson, with his defensive mind, and also as a head coach, previous head coach, what do you think his influence is on the Texas program?
Huge. You talk about someone that's proven. You talk about somebody that has influence. As soon as he walks into that room, onto the 40 acres, immediately influence. I love that Coach Sark can have a guy of that stature to come in and to help. That's hard to do. It really is, because I mean, this guy's beat a lot of football teams. This guy's made a lot of great players really, really good. And for Coach Patterson to be on our staff now and to put his, I say 2 cents, but put his sense in there, is really going to help us out. I mean, because at the end of the day, we defensively we can get better, right? We can get better. Offensively, we know what we have, but defensively, if we can grow in that area even more, it's not old school, so you can't hold people to 10 points a game or 13 points. But there is a style of defense that you still, old school mindset, that you still can make it hard on the offense, especially the closer you get to the red zone when that field shrinks. And that's when you get even better by making sure you affect the quarterback on third down. And when you get closer to the red zone, get close to the end zone, you got to keep the guys out of the end zone. They have to kick 3 points. So that's my coaching of the day, I should say.
There you go. Keep them 4 points.
Yeah.
100%. So you played in the Big 12, like you said, from 01 to 04. There's a lot of expansion talk, now with USC and UCLA going to the Big 10. I'm going to ask a Texas-specific question. How do you project Texas's move to the SEC, and what's the excitement level for a former player like yourself who's still involved in the program? Because I tell you, mine and Glenn's perspective is we want to play the best on Saturdays, right? If that's the Southeastern Conference. If we get to take trips to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Oxford, Mississippi, Nashville, Tennessee, that's what we plan to do in the fall. We're excited about it. How do you feel about it?
I feel great about it. Regardless of what happened last year or where the state of Texas mindset of football wise, wherever I don't care what anybody says, this is a great move for the University of Texas to jump into the SEC. Because when we get this culture moving in the right direction really soon, there's going to be a lot of bandwagon try to jump on ship. But I tell you what, man, you got to be, if you're a Longhorn and you bleed burnt orange, you got to be with us when we're down. You got to be with us when we're up. And I tell you what, up is coming soon. But I'm excited about it. Of course, financially it's going to be great. Not that we need more money, but I'm just saying, just the whole perspective of the revenue of how much money it brings in to the university, I think is awesome. The talent level, playing against the Alabamas and the Georgias, and everybody that everything that comes with the SEC. So I'm kind of jealous. I wish I had an opportunity to play some of those guys. But this is pretty cool. Now I can sit on the couch or go to the game actually and watch it and coach from there.
Absolutely. Kind of getting off the football topic, just wanted you to, if you can, tell the viewers about your Defend the Dream Foundation and how they may be able to support that.
Yeah, absolutely. My foundation, Defend the Dream Foundation, which caters to inner city kids through education. And I'm really passionate about giving back, being a philanthropist. And that's what I do now. Being retired from the NFL, and I tell you what, I did it in Kansas City for years, and now just launched here in Austin. I tell you what, from Kendra Scott to Brad Elliott, from the Covert people. I mean, I did a lot of different, business owners here. Local people are really jumping on board and just love the fact that this is what my foundation does. At the end of the day, it's we go into Title I schools, to elementary schools that really need help with their library. So we do a library makeover at the end of the day. And I mean, we're changing the atmosphere, changing the environment for these kids. And after we leave, these are $50,000 projects, by the way. We did almost 20 of them in Kansas City. And now just coming here, Oak Springs would be the first one here in probably in a couple months. We'll go to Oak Springs Elementary. But I mean, we're talking fatheads on the wall, paint, you know, just liven up the heart of that. You know, the library is the heart of the school at the end of the day. So for us to do that, I tell you what, man, and the biggest cost is not the paint on the wall. The biggest cost is the age-appropriate books that we provide for these kids. And I tell you what, man, we know from an inner-city kid, I know at the end of the day, in order for them to make it, education has to be the key, specifically literacy.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Yeah,
and we'll make sure
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, so we'll make sure that we're going to put the link for your foundation, as well as we'll put the link for the Players Burnt Orange Heroes. We'll put the link in the YouTube video in the comment section so that people can go in there and click on those and learn more about those. You know, I'm passionate about education. That's why I'm actually going back to school, retired from the Army after 22 years, and I'm actually going back to school you know, for education. So
that's awesome.
So education's, I know, big to, you know, Jeremy's got his master's degree as well. So that's currently where I'm working towards as well. But one day here in the near future, I'll be Mr. Clint teacher in some high school here in the San Antonio area, but definitely excited about that. So we're definitely both on education and literacy, and we absolutely think it's important, you know, to get into those inner city schools where they definitely need the help.
Good deal. Yes,
absolutely. It is a great deal. So when we talked on the phone, Derek, I told you we were kind of recruiting centric in the off season. And then as the season gets closer, we'll dive into the depth chart analysis and position previews and stuff like that. But it's recruiting season, right? We got 17 current players or commits to the 23 class, probably looking to gain anywhere from 10 to 12 more. What would you say if somebody asked you why Texas?
That's a good question. I'll tell you what, for me, coming from the University of Texas, kind of easy. You almost have to experience it, but they don't have that luxury, so I have to express my love for Texas. I tell you what, it's a rich tradition that'll last forever. When you talk about off the field, you talk about meeting certain people that you would never be able to meet and have conversations with business-wise. It's a rich tradition at the end of the day. And being a Longhorn is something special. And being able to strap up and have that decal on your helmet, Bevo on your helmet on Saturdays is a big, big deal. And took a lot of pride in that. And on Saturdays, regardless of you playing OU, A&M, or whatever it was at that time, it's an opportunity for you and your brothers, your Longhorn brothers, to bleed burnt orange. And I mean, our fans, we have the best fans in the world, because at the end of the day, the standards are very, very high. So if you don't want to come somewhere, if you want to go somewhere that the standards are low, and you know, if you lose, it's just, you know, it's okay, you know, pat you on the back. It's not that kind of place. Not saying that the fans or Longhorns are ruthless. No, it's just we expect excellence at the end of the day. And as a player, you should expect more from yourself than anybody, and have high expectations. So that's how you build that culture. And trust me, there's going to be a lot of people coming on board for sure.
Yeah,
I truly believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's, you know, the standard is like you said. No, Texas fan base can get kind of ornery sometimes, you know, just based on that standard alone. And you can kind of feel the energy. Like me and Jeremy have been doing this for 2 years. We actually started off with telephones and telephones, talking to each other at microphones. And I can tell you that our channel has grown through that experience, you know, both wins, losses, having to terminate coaches, but we've kind of lived through that standard. And this is what we've been doing. We've been burnt orange through and through for, 35 plus years. This is what we've been doing, So it's really exciting to actually have you on here, as an All-American from the University of Texas, Derrick. And we don't want to take too much more of your time, but we just wanted to kind of sit down and talk to you for 20 minutes and appreciate you giving us your time. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Man, I'm just excited for the season, man. It's just it's more and more young people, and the right young people. You know, of course, we want guys that are really good on the field, but we want good character guys too. So you know, you gotta have that just so they can have that great influence, because a lot of eyes on Texas. Everybody's talking about the eyes of Texas upon you. They definitely are.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Derrick. Hopefully we get you on maybe mid-season, talk about a defense that's improving. We definitely would appreciate it. And hook 'em.
That'd be great.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Hook 'em.